I had put it up for easy getting when I started the podcast. And for some reason, Joe is a witness now. He has seen this. When I turn on the phone, it shows up and then quickly disappears and goes right to the regular news feed. So, but I got it back very quickly. I wanted to hear what you're binge watching. I've talked about the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. We watched that over the weekend. Love, love, love that show. Here are some of your answers. Jay says The Crown. I love it. Lauren says Virgin River was fantastic. Just finished Suits. Okay, Suits is the one with Meghan Markle. News about her today, too. Her and her prince husband apparently are stepping down from the royal duties. It seems they didn't really inform the royals about that. And they said they're going to split their time between Britain and North America, which I think means the United States. Where do you think they'll live? There is already an article at NJ.com of why they should pick Jersey City. I am pretty positive they will not pick Jersey City. I mean, come on. Debbie says Lost in Space. My husband also binge watching that. Lynn says the Kaminsky Method on Netflix. It's fantastic. Yes, we have binge watched that. We've watched the first and the second season already. Another one, Mimi says the Kaminsky Method. It is super, super entertaining and fun if you would like to check it out. Libby says just finished season 2 of You. This show was popping up everywhere. Everyone kept talking about the show You. So I did a quick Google search, and it appears that a man comes to a small town, opens up a bookstore, and becomes a little obsessed with a writer in town that he meets at the bookstore. I think that's what I got from the synopsis. I will check it out. Julia says, Atypical on Netflix. Michelle says, You and Sinner. Larry says, Sopranos. 10th time I've watched start to finish. I miss my favorite show ever, and to me, it is the best show in history. I had watched, I mentioned to him, I've watched Breaking Bad twice now. I love that show. And then he says he does on occasion go back and watch Ray Donovan over and over again. A friend of mine loves Ray Donovan. I have not checked that out. I believe that is a Showtime show. Kathy says just finished Outlander, which I have heard great things about. Dawn says Criminal Minds. I used to watch that when it was on live. Kate says just started You today. Seems a bit suspenseful so far. Also in the middle of The Crown. But I must say I preferred Victoria. Ashley says Bosch on Amazon. Not heard of that. Another one for Virgin River. And then somebody chimes in and says, I really liked it, but heard others say they thought it was predictable and bad acting. I don't know. You tell me. Elizabeth says The Mentalist on Prime. Melissa says started Dracula on Netflix last night. Ugh, no Dracula for me. Lori says The Great British Baking Show. And another one, Beverly just finished You on Netflix. We'll probably start Ozark since they just announced season 3 is coming out. I believe that is Jason Bateman, isn't it? Ozark, I think. I have heard good things about that as well. I have not checked it out. Another one I kept seeing promos for on Amazon when I was watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel was Fleabag, which won a ton of Emmy Awards last fall. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'll check it out. Maybe I won't. Seems I have a lot to watch. Seems like I could pretty much cut the cord on my cable. Maybe soon. Mulling it over still. Getting a lot closer than I used to be, but still have not made any moves. I will miss that TV land, I got to tell you. And I need my news in the morning. I need my news. So on to today's blog post. I wanted to kind of dissect something a little bit for you guys. I wanted to know, do you think that possibly you think that you are too cool to be happy Let me explain. I've come to a realization recently, and watch out because I am going to share it with you. I've talked about how I read like 57 self-help books before I found one that really resonated with me, one that really stuck and broke it down in a way that made me actually want to try what they were suggesting. That book, of course, if you listen to me, you know, was You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Now, I think what made her book different for me was, one, I may have just been finally ready to make a change. But more than that, too, I think, and listen clearly, listen carefully, I think she dumbed it down for me. I think she broke through all of the issues I've always had with all this personal growth crap, which, yes, is what I always refer to it as. So, you know, it's funny to think about because I wanted so much to be happier, and I had a steady diet of self-help books and talk shows that were supposed to help me live my best life, but I couldn't admit it, mostly to myself. There was still a lot of stigma attached to trying to find ways to be happier, like you were a loser if you needed a book to help figure it out. The same type of stigma that was attached to seeing a therapist, there is some still stigma attached to these things, but nothing like it used to be. And that's another thing. I'm a huge proponent of therapy. I love therapy. Just wish it was a little more affordable. So in this book, You Are a Badass, the author admitted that some of the things she was asking us to do would make us feel stupid. But then she told us to do it anyway. Do it anyway. Put some thought into it. Dr. Phil's voice was resonating in my head. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? How's my Dr. Phil? Needs some work, doesn't it? But this may be the same thing, because let me tell you, I was way too cool to do affirmations and write myself notes telling me how great I am. I mean, really, who does those silly things? Who does that? Then it dawned on me. Oh, yeah, happy people. I finally figured I had nothing to lose. I mean, you all must know that I am the ultimate in coolness. I mean, it just oozes out of me. But I was willing to put it all on the line and lose a few cool points to see if this crap actually worked. The funniest part is, who was I trying to be so cool for? Myself? I've never been a very cool person. I don't think I was too much of a nerd, but cool, that's kind of stretching it. So I'm not even sure what my obsession with being cool was. I mean, I wasn't cool in high school. I wasn't cool in college. I had a cool job in radio, but it didn't mean I was cool. I mean, in fact, most of my early coworkers would tell you I was anything but cool. I lost my cool all the time because I didn't know what I was doing. I would freak out. But somehow I convinced myself that I was indeed cool, and I had to protect that at all costs. The fact is that doing some of these things did make me feel stupid until I started doing them and realized, hey, you know what? They worked. Have you ever tried visualization? They say actors do it all the time. They envision themselves in the part they are going for. Actors are cool, aren't they? Does it really even matter? Once I let go of my need to be cool, things started to change. Not only do I realize now that I never really was cool, but I'm even more on the nerdy side now than ever before. I blame my husband. You marry a nerd, you turn into a nerd. Oh, I'm kidding. He knows I'm kidding. I used to joke with him all the time. I'd be like, you're such a nerd. Because you know what's worse than being a nerd? Marrying a nerd. Well, you know what? Nerdy people have fun. And they don't care if other people think they're nerds. Well, maybe a little bit. Just a little bit. I do more silly stuff now than I have ever done in my whole life. Again, you know why? Because fun people are silly. When you are happy, you feel silly and want to do silly things. I break out in song numerous times a day. Any song that pops into my head. I mock my husband all the time, make fun of him as I just did. Don't worry, he doesn't mind. He does the same to me. I have a spiel I go through with the dog. When I come home, I ask her all sorts of questions like, what's the scoop, Poop? What do you think, Stink? What's happening, Home Slice? I asked her what she was doing while I was gone. Did she have a party? Did she have the neighbors over? What was happening? I think she likes it. My point is, I've never been more of a geek than I am right now. And guess what? I've never been happier. So my advice to you is, if you were like me, get over yourself. You can continue to be cool, or you can be happy. Let me do that in my Dr. Phil voice a bit again. Do you want to be cool, or do you want to be happy? Yeah, still got a lot of work to do. Maybe you would rather be cool than geekfully happy. And that's okay. I will continue to break out in song and love my life, and I hope you will do the same. It's I Wish It Were Cocktail Friday, Thursday. Already, peeps. One more day to the freaking weekend. Think about how cool you think you are and how important it really is in your life. Because who are you being cool for? Really? So put some thought into it, and now go make it your silliest best day yet.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit Hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.
Come on, Ellen, have a silly girl on your show.